When it comes to combat sports, the GOAT debate, I really hate it. Like, it's completely subjective. It's why nobody ever wins, really, in those Godzilla versus King Kong or Batman versus Superman films. We can talk about whose dad would beat up whose dad forever, but it doesn't matter because they're not going to fight, right? That's the point. So while I do hate the GOAT debate, I still think it's really important to look at the Mount Rushmore of Jiu-Jitsu. You know, there's guys that are not only some of the best competitors and athletes ever, but also helped the sport grow into what it is today and the techniques that we see used today, in not just in Jiu-Jitsu, but in MMA as well. So most people would put Gordon Ryan, Roger Gracie, maybe Rickson Gracie or Buchecha. There's a lot of names that could or should go up there, but one that I think is completely non-negotiable and should have pride of place on that monument is a 5'8" bald Brazilian lad called Marcelo Garcia. And unless your name's J-Rod, I'm sure you've heard of Marcelo Garcia.
Cunt doesn't know who Marcelo Garcia is.
Very disappointed. I'm disgusted to even be friends with him, to be honest.
Since it's been so long since he officially retired, a lot of people who've been doing jiu-jitsu for like a decade, even more than that, never saw him in his prime. So I wanted to talk for a little bit about what makes Marcelo great and why, for some people, me included, he might even be that step above everyone else on that Mount Rushmore.
He's literally considered like one of the GOATs.
Marcelo's just so freakish. You know, his jiu-jitsu, especially in his prime.
All right, let's talk about it.
Marcelo Garcia isn't just one of the greatest competitors to ever grace the mats, but what put him a step above those other guys is that he was an innovator and a pioneer of some of the techniques and metas that still play a massive part in Jiu-Jitsu and in MMA 20 years later. Now, before everyone gets mad, I'm not going to claim that he invented any of these moves, because there's always someone in the comments saying, actually, I've been doing Jiu-Jitsu since 16-2, and my coach in the samurai era developed the outside heel hook. I will say Marcelo is widely considered to be the driving person popularizing these techniques. Attacking from the arm drag, not just in guard, but also as an introduction to a wrestling exchange. The high elbow guillotine, also of course known as the Marcelotine. Butterfly in general, yes, obviously this has been around forever with the Gracies, but no one used it like Marcelo. The X guard, and more importantly, the single X, which originally was just a step on the way to using the X guard, but nowadays is used as basically the introduction to leg attacks in general. 2-on-1 arm drag from Butterfly, the dummy sweep or double Koji-Gari, shoulder crunch, half butterfly sweeps, sit-up escapes, wrestle-ups. You might notice that if you switch on ADCC or CJI or flow grappling or anything, you're gonna see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of this crap used in every high-level match in the world right now, and Marcelo is considered to have most of the impact in developing and popularizing them. Basically, everything Marcelo used in his game was something that he himself had developed. His entire game at the time was pretty much unique, and now in modern jiu-jitsu, you can see these techniques being used in almost every high-level jiu-jitsu matchup. Large parts of Gordon Ryan's game are based on that double Kuchigari sweep from the bottom, the shoulder crunch from half butterfly, and obviously leg attacks a lot of the time starting from single X or the knee reap, all of which Marcelo Garcia made famous. Now, it's all well and good developing stuff for other people to use, but what about his competition record? Marcelo has some pretty hard to beat accolades. He won worlds in the gi at every belt level and 5 times at black belt. He gold medaled at ADCC in 4 out of his 5 appearances, and he medaled twice at absolute. He overcame some completely outrageous size and weight disadvantages, which we'll talk about more in a second, to beat multiple UFC heavyweight champions and ultra heavyweight guys. He is 3-0 over a pre-steroids, but still pretty good Andre Galvao. He was the only man capable of beating Kron Gracie at ADCC and held him off both times they fought. And yes, I know the MMA fans and the younger guys will be like, well, Kron Gracie's shit. I promise you, at the time, he was the heir apparent of Jiu-Jitsu, and he was pretty much untouchable at ADCC against any man not named Marcelo Garcia. If you are interested in getting as good as Marcelo Garcia, of course you're gonna need some good gear to get on the mats and roll around in, and that is where X Martial comes in. X Martial are making some really good looking no-gi stuff, shorts, spats, long and short sleeve rash guards. You can even get your own custom stuff made. Really great stuff right now. If you go through the link in the description, you can get yourself 15% off anything on the store, and a little bit of that will help out the channel. So thank you very much to X Martial. Head over there and grab yourself some good gear. Now let's talk about the stuff that is going to piss a bunch of people off. If you're comparing Marcelo to Roger Gracie, and maybe more obviously Gordon Ryan, there's one small thing that sets them apart. Marcelo was pretty much consistently under 77 kilograms and 5'8". He looks like the kind uncle that takes you fishing on holidays. He looks like he's never stepped foot in a gym, let alone one of these modern freaks of nature like Hodger and Gordon, whether natural or otherwise. They're enormous, and their size and their strength is a massive part of what makes them good in jiu-jitsu, right? If Gordon didn't think it was a big deal, he wouldn't have done it. They used their size to their advantage in all of their matches, and despite this, Marcelo Garcia was consistently beating super heavyweights and medaling at absolute level. When Lachlan Giles got bronze at ADCC Absolute, everyone lost their minds, and rightly so. Marcelo's about his size and managed not only to take bronze, but a silver at Absolute as well. And he medaled twice at Absolute in the gi at Worlds. Some of the monsters Marcelo managed to beat include Hollis Gracie, Alexandre Ferreira, Cyborg Abreu, Rob Drysdale, Janje Ribeiro, Rico Rodriguez, who I swear to God when they fought was about 350 pounds, Andre Arlovsky, Gabriel Gonzaga. I could go on forever. He was the epitome of the traditional jiu-jitsu concept of a smaller, weaker man using technique to destroy giants. And come on, we all love that. It has to score points against people like Hodger and Gordon. It just has to. And like I said, it's all subjective, right? You could say, well, he was 0-1 in MMA, and Rickson Gracie did it in MMA. Sure. You can say Gordon has more ADCC golds and super fights than him. Sure. I think you also have to realize Marcelo did it in the gi. He did it without drugs. He did it under 77 kilograms. He created, developed, popularized, whatever you want to say, so much jiu-jitsu. Like, he was just making up so much more jiu-jitsu than everyone else. And he did it all while being a genuinely respectful and decent human being. So whether you're in the camp of John Jones is the GOAT because he's the best, or GSP's the GOAT because John Jones is a dick, and the steroids and the crime and all that stuff, like I said, it's a completely pointless argument because everyone in the comments has already kind of decided who the best of all time is. So let's all just agree, if there was a Mount Rushmore, you could not have it, and you could not have modern jiu-jitsu without Marcelo Garcia. So seeing him come back recently at one against Mazakatsu Imanari, winning with that north-south choke, beating cancer, it's just all good. Makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside, and yeah, I just wanted to talk about Marcelo for a bit. I love his little curly head. What do you guys think? Who's your GOAT? I'm sure a lot of people are gonna get really mad at me for all the things I've said. Let me know in the comments what you value in the greatest of all time and who you think is your GOAT. If you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe. We are on the road to 10,000, just 500 subscribers away. That's gonna be awesome. Maybe I'll do a giveaway or something. And yeah, man, I just can't wait for CJI 2.